Yes, we're going to talk college football today. With Indiana winning the national championship, there are a lot of college football teams and programs and coaches that have been put on notice. Noticeably, Dan Lanning from Oregon and Coach Prime from Colorado, Coach Sanders. These two programs, I feel like, have been, in the overall grand scheme of things, have been underachieving a little bit. Let's start with Oregon first, with Dan Lanning. Oregon basically has been making it to the championship, to the playoffs every year, and pretty much once they make it to the playoffs and once they get to one of those games on the national stage, they kind of get slapped around a little bit. They've lost two games in 2 years by a combined 97 points, and these games were blowouts. They both were blowouts in the first half. The games weren't even competitive. And so there's no way that a program like Indiana should be surpassing Oregon with national championships. Oregon has been a program that has been over the years been growing, and they've always been a winner. Oregon's a good program. It's a winning program, but they just have to get over the hump with the national championships. It's really national championship or bust at this point. They've really done everything else pretty much that you can think of as far as the program except win a national championship. And I think Dan Lanning has been overrated a little bit as far as the media goes. It's not his fault that the media covers him and talks great about him like that, but I think the media has kind of act like he is the second coming to Bear Bryant, and he has came up short in a big way. Um, but here nor there, I think he is on the clock pretty much with Indiana winning a national championship and going all the way 16-0 like that. It put a lot of schools on notice. Coach Sanders is another one. Um, Colorado should have been a lot better than they were this year. They were in a lot of close games, but they just weren't able to pull it out. And a lot of their issues have to do with, I think, lack of talent. Um, yeah, people say, well, Coach Prime picked those players and you have the transfer portal, but just because you have the transfer portal open does not mean that there's quality players across the board, and that you're able to select. There's other teams picking from the portal as well that are able to get players. So I knew once Shador Sanders left the team that and Travis Hunter that they would be in trouble. The quarterbacks, Shador Sanders had a lot to do with their wins at that program. He was a really, really good quarterback for that program. Um, he basically holds every record for them. And him being Coach Sanders having the comfortability of being able to coach his son, I think that had a lot to play with it as well. So Coach Prime is on the clock for Colorado. Their best player that's coming up this past year was a offensive lineman in Jordan Seaton, and that's just not going to get it done when you're in the Big 12. The Big 12 is out of the Power Five conferences. I would say they're number five. I'm sorry, number four. I will put them at number four out of the Power Five conferences. With that being said, um, that conference, you should be able to do better than they have been doing. They've came in like last place. They had issues with quarterback carousel. One week it was Ryan Schaub. The next week it was, God, what's that guy's name? Salter, Caden Salter, which that was a disaster. Um, Coach Prime really needs to hit the recruiting hard as far as high school and the portal. I think that he just hasn't had the talent there, and been able to develop the kids. Because he's basically been picking out of the portal each year, and that's not going to work. Um, so this will be a real big year for those two programs, Oregon and Colorado, the University of Colorado. So we'll see what happens.